Well, BFD, thank you for joining the podcast. I'm glad to have you on. How you doing today?
Lovely, lovely.
It's definitely a hotter day than normal, so we may be glistening on the camera, just so everyone
Yeah.
knows. But you are a Sacramento rapper,
hmm
born and raised here in Sacramento.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what part?
In the north, all over the
North,
north, yeah.
all over the north. Nice. And how was your childhood?
It's like your standard issue rapper story, right?
What's that? What's that? Speak up if you can, just a little
So
bit.
it's like, mom was on stuff and my dad was in and out the picture types, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You have siblings?
I do. I have two sisters and one adopted older brother, yep.
Oh, okay. And where are you in the lineup?
I have one older brother, my adopted brother's older, and my sister, one of my sisters is older.
So you're the baby of the family.
The baby is little Rita, is my little sister.
Oh, okay. So
Yep.
middle.
Yep.
Is it true what they say about the middle kids?
For sure. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah.
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 So why? What was your temperament like growing up?
I felt like I always had to prove something. You know,
Yeah.
I always had that chip on my shoulder. Like I felt like I got to get in where I fit in. Yeah.
And do you think that comes from like the family life, being the middle child? Because they say that like the oldest gets the attention because they're the oldest, and then the youngest gets their attention because they're
They're
the
the
youngest,
youngest.
and then the middle kids end up kind of getting lost in the family dynamic, and their needs aren't met as much as the first and the last. Would you say that that's pretty true?
I think generally that's true. I think where the difference comes in is what the middle child does. I think that's why they get in so much trouble. They're they they either excel hella or they're just like uh fall by the wayside, feel like nobody cares about them.
Yeah. You know what? And I find too that middle children, y'all tend to be very, very like headstrong
Yeah, I feel
naturally.
like I fit that. Yeah,
Because my daughter, um, I feel like since she came out the womb, she
yeah,
just knew who she was gonna stand on it. She's gone against the grain. She always gives me just the biggest challenges, and I
yeah.
love that. Like I don't ever want to dim her light. You know
hmm
what I mean? Do you feel like you were like that?
Uh, I feel like I get my feeling the biggest challenges for the most part. Yeah.
Um, so growing up, what kind of kid would you say you were? Like besides, the challenging middle child, like were you a reactive person, a level-headed person? What would
I
you say?
I feel like I adapted, right? So sometimes I'll be super reactive,
Yeah.
and sometimes I'll be the cooler head.
Yeah.
It just depends on the situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like I fit both of those. That might, I'm not a huge believer in astrology and stuff like that, but also being a Gemini, I feel like that we kind of just we're able to just adapt. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the situation calls for, I feel like
Yeah.
I could fit that. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that a lot in Geminis actually.
You know?
I do. And you guys also tend to be strong characters in general.
Right.
And I feel like I've actually come across both sides. I think that's where how they say there's two faces to the Gemini.
hmm
You guys can be cool, calm, and collected, and also put pressure if need be.
Right.
And I tend to get along with Geminis a lot because I feel like I don't know. I just really appreciate you guys' energy.
I appreciate that.
But yeah, you're welcome. In your adolescence, you said the typical rapper lifestyle. Before we get into the rapping, what got you into the typical rapping lifestyle, which
Uh,
I call the street life?
right.
You know,
So it is. But I think even before I was in the streets, right? I'm an older head, right? So I was born in '79. So by the time I was like listening to music and actually appreciating it, I was what, like third, fourth grade when you first start hearing like stuff that you playing on the radio, you whatever all the time, stuff that you like to listen to. It was always rap, and so in where it was predominantly whatever you get on the radio for the most part. So except for like in Northern Cali, you had like short and you had like, the typical standard issue Bay Area
Bay
cats,
Area,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. So whatever was slapping uh, around the neighborhood was what we were listening to. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Also in school, it was Hammer. It just to be real, right? It was
yeah,
it was Hammer, it was De La Soul, it was whatever was popping at the time. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It was all that stuff.
And did you have an interest for music right away?
Yeah, yeah. So my dad played the piano and my mom was really into singing and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I was like yeah, I started playing guitar when I was probably like third, fourth grade. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I always like music.
Yeah, that's hella cool. In your opinion, if you were to analyze the rap game back in the day and how it is now, is there distinct differences that you've observed?
I mean, as far as sonically, or like, because I don't really know how the rap game was back then. I just knew what I liked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't super deep into it, but like I think in the '90s when I started actually being in the streets, right? And when I was really out there, but when I was 12, right? So
Oh
like
shit.
11, I was kind of like veering towards it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody was wearing the neighborhood color. You know what I'm saying? And you saw it everywhere, but you wasn't like participating. You wasn't getting busy until you're like summer of sixth grade. So what was that? 12,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
That's such a trip to put into perspective because we have a 10-year-old daughter. And I'm like, 11 is next year.
Right.
Like, that is
Straight
super
up. Yeah.
young. But that goes to show the impact of the environment, right?
100%.
Were your parents involved in like that kind of lifestyle? Like your dad or anything?
So nah, hell no. My dad was a square bear. Like just to be real, he's a product of the Chicano movement. So he helped bring La Raza de la Familia to Sacramento out of San Jose, which
Oh
is a
wow.
program that helped paisas as they traveled up and down the state following the fields. You know what I'm
Yeah, the
saying?
farm
So
workers.
yeah, so yeah, my dad was on that hype,
Yeah.
right? So politics, he was that type shit. You know what I'm saying? And then he fell out of that later. But my mom, when they divorced, my mom kind of got heavy into drugs, started kicking it with her homegirl. She had been pent up her whole life, so she lived out her 20s as a, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as she dipped from dude, yeah.
Dang. Do you think the effect of the divorce and mom's getting into what she got into is what kind of aided you getting into the streets?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, yeah. So if you don't have nothing at home, you start stealing, right?
Yeah.
You see people who have stuff on, like your homeboys, if they 12, 13 years old and they can actually, at the time, buy weed and have fresh clothes, and their mom is just like your mom. What the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And let me get some of that. So yeah,
Did you get into any kind of legal trouble?
yeah, uh, yeah. I caught my first case when I was 12. It was a burglary case, and then I caught a GTA right after it. Got a battery when I got out from that, and then I caught a murder robbery when I was 16. So
Damn.
yeah, so
So like right after the other, a domino effect then
yeah,
of the lifestyle.
yeah.
So how did that impact you as a person?
Uh, how did I mean, it created me, right? Like you establish a foundation as a human being, right? From your surroundings. You know what I'm saying? However you react to your surroundings, and then from there you fortify your personality. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Oh
Did your pops ever try to like keep you out of the streets? No.
no, no, he had his own thing going on. Yeah,
Dang.
yeah.
Because it goes one way or the other. Sometimes I hear that parents hella try, and then sometimes I hear that parents were like, "Yeah, it
Nah,
ain't nothing we could do. He's just gonna
he
have to
he
learn
had
the
his
hard
own,
way."
yeah, he had his own thing going on. Like there was a shooting that happened where
Yeah.
we were from, and and I remember him being like, "Oh, that's it. Oh, it's like, you want to get out or something? Like, like who are
Dang.
you talking to?" Yeah, so
Yeah.
I remember there was a definitive line where he was like, he stopped having that authority over me, and me kind of recognized my ability to kind of like, uh, if you try to tell me what to do, there's probably gonna be a problem. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah,
Hey, I think that happens for a lot of young men, huh?
yeah,
Like there's a pivotal moment where you go from being a young boy to a man.
yeah. And
And
you're
then
not a man. You're not a man.
no, but you
You're
can
just a
challenge a man.
react. You're just physically the size of the dude, and you don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't make you a man. Fist fighting and all that shit, that don't make you no man. What makes you a man is your ability to control. Like I seen this thing that said, a man is recognizes he's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And he becomes a man when he's able to control it. You know what I'm saying? So you know when if if I was smart, if I was a man, I would have been able to recognize his intelligence and see what he was telling me was the truth, and that if I didn't stop, I was probably gonna kill somebody. I was probably gonna go to prison and keep hurting people. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah.
ultimately what happened. I should have listened to him. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I should have just recognized, all right, he knows what he's doing. Look, he got a house, he got his all this shit together, whatever, and he ended up fucking that off. But at the time, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I should have listened to him.
Yeah.
That's the reality. Yeah.
You know, I hear that a lot. And how much do you attribute people's personality to just not wanting to listen to the wisdom of the older heads that are trying to, lead them down the right path?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's just like a natural phase that we all have to go
I
through?
do, but I think there's an angle for everybody,
Yeah.
right? Especially having done so many years. I did 23 years in prison. So having just the close proximity to so many volatile human beings, you know what I'm saying, and being able to maneuver through it and not lose myself, not become a victim and not stop being who I was simultaneously. You know what I'm saying? It's like you learn how to, okay, this dude reacts this way to this, and this dude reacts this way to that. Uh, you learn how to I hate to say the word because there's a negative connotation to it, but it's manipulate people. It's be able to make them understand what you're talking about, right, and react the way to what you're talking about that you want them to. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Get the
saying?
best
Yeah.
outcome
Right.
based on how you harness your own energy and how
Right.
you're approaching them.
That's right.
No, that makes a lot of sense. At what age would you say that this intelligence and knowledge really sunk in for you?
Hey, I don't know what age, but I know what incident. I know an incident when I was in a high desert on Sea Yard. I was on the track and I had just been like it was okay for me to program, right? Um and I thought I had that little swag about me, like, man, you can't fuck with me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was sagging, I had my boots unlaced, I had sunglasses on, like, I was like walking with a little limp, and I was walking with a brother named Viejo from Stockton, and he was just like he was just, this motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then something happened with another group segment, and it kind of it was like, all right, well, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like all that tough guy stuff is cool until it's time to politic. You know what I'm saying? Then you gotta figure out what you just gonna punk people into doing. Like this is real life. This isn't. You just gonna crash yourself out and everybody else out. So I found I found a reason to mitigate my tough guy attitude.
Yeah. Um, I think I hear so much that there's pivotal moments like that. There's a saying, there's always, you think you're the baddest, but there's someone out there
Someone that's
badder than
always
you.
better
You
than
think
you.
the hardest, there's
Yep.
someone out there harder than you.
Yep.
And it's interesting to me how those pivotal moments teach us something invaluable about ourselves
Yep.
and like longevity when it comes to life. And I don't know about you, and let me hear your thoughts, but when I see, you know everyone, we're youngsters and we're very reactive and we're very emotional,
Yep.
and I see them take this very emotional and reactive approach to life, and I feel like it's almost gotten worse as the generations have gone
Me
on.
too. I think that too. Yeah.
Because I see, like, the older generation and just how you guys were back in the day. Even back in the day, I don't feel like, yeah, there was still the drama, there was still the politics, there was still, the turf wars and gang wars and all these things, but I feel like there was a certain level of honor that was more predominant, and y'all still weren't as emotional as I'm seeing a lot of the younger generation being.
Right.
What do you think that stems from?
I know what it stems from. I guarantee you, if you do some research on it, I guarantee you it's this. It's the reaction, right? So it's like it now I could be behind the screen and say whatever I want, like to this dude, right? And this dude come punch me in my fucking face in the '90s, right? Like what? You're not just gonna talk to him like that, because if I ever knew this dude, in order for us to have an issue, that means there we have access to each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because on the internet, a dude all the way down in L.A. and Texas and New York could just talk shit to me. You know what I'm saying? And what am I gonna do? I'm gonna fly out to LA. I'm punch this dude in his face. Hell no. But in the '90s, we didn't have that access to these other human beings. You know what I'm saying? The people that we interacted with were immediately accessible.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
the action to consequence
consequence,
was
right?
more
That's it.
predominant.
Yeah.
And so you knew, I'm guessing you knew to tread more cautiously with certain people or who not to go there with because y'all actually knew each other
Right.
in real life.
And it's access. It's just access to those people. Once you don't have that access, and a 150-pound dude could talk stuff to a 300-pound dude, that man, yeah, he's the hardest dude in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you think when you see these younger generations do the whole online, I guess online politicking? What are your thoughts on that? Opinions on seeing
I
that?
think only people who need to know need to know. You know what I'm saying? That you just undermine not only whatever you're doing, but the people you care about with that stuff. You know, you don't know who you're talking to. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, it could go real bad real quick, and you don't have those consequences, but it only takes once, and then sometimes that once is too late. You know what I'm saying? And it might not even be you. You might not even be the one that suffers for it.
Yeah.
Somebody real close to you suffers for it.
Yeah, yeah, no, and you know what? I noticed that too because I've observed some people and um that take that persona on the socials
Yeah.
very heavy, and then they're also the same people to post their company name, where they
Yeah.
be at, where they're eating at. And I was, I'm a 90s baby, and my dad, he put me up on a lot of certain game, and I'm looking at that. Like my dad used to have a saying, think like a predator so you don't become prey, right?
Right.
So I'm
I
thinking
love
like,
that.
damn, you yelling to the ops on social media,
Yep.
and I just looked at 5 ways they could catch you slipping,
Yep.
and it's
So if you're not ready for it, then shut the fuck up. If you're not ready for all that, then shut up. Just be cool. Yeah.
what do you think about this notion that I feel like a lot of people take that you said a man is someone who masters their emotions, right? There's a calmness that comes with that. But I feel like that calmness gets taken as weakness. Would you agree?
Of course. Right. Yeah.
Would you agree that the calmer man is the more dangerous one?
And in some respects, right? I don't think that's generally, I think that's stereotypical, right? Be leery of the quiet ones, right? But quiet ones get smashed too. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I think, just feel people out, deal
Yeah.
with everybody evenly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're not, because it could be allow them out. I ain't gonna say his name, but I got a brother that's real close to me,
Yeah.
and he is fucking wild and like all the time, and loudest one in the room is supposed to be the softest, but this dude ain't soft.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's always exceptions to the rule. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like I that had to have come from somewhere. But I seen both.
Yeah.
I seen the quiet ones that act tough, that hey homie, and do all that stuff, and then they go out quick.
Yeah.
I seen the loud ones really, really rock some shit. You know what I'm saying? So
It just depends the character.
it just depends on the individual. That's what I really think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's interesting. So touching on the rap, right?
Yeah.
How old were you when you got into rapping?
I think when I was like, I used to always rap. Like we used to roll around G-Rods. I told a story before. My boy Jay King, he hosts another podcast, right?
Yeah.
But we used to ride around G-Rides and have like instrumental tapes and just be free, high as fuck, freestyling over the instrumentals, you know what I mean? And so I was like 11, 12 doing that,
Yeah.
right?
Also, since a young boy.
Yeah.
A
So,
young boy.
yeah.
And it came natural?
I think just doing it all the time. And then going to juvenile hall, you used to have these, they call them the blue boats.
Yeah.
And like we used to flip them over and make beats on it. So
Yeah.
we'd be rapping all night in the cell in juvenile hall,
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting hooked up with these dudes from LA, and when I was like 14 or 15, called Black Diamond Playhouse Productions, and they were holding like a talent thing, like just like in a grimy ass. And my Crip homie, he was like, man, there's these niggas over here from LA, and they're looking for talent from Sacramento. I'm drive you over there. I was like, all right. So I went over there with him, freestyle for like 45 minutes. They hand me a stack of papers, and my mom, I gave them to my mom to sign there for her to, like, I guess the adult, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I gave them to her, and she didn't do nothing with them, and I kind of forgot about them, and then a couple months later, I got caught up. So
Dang. And so when'd you get back into it? Because now I've been seeing you a lot more like on social media collabing, and I see you around some other known rappers, like Lazy Boy, and um, what got you back into it and wanting to do it?
so in 2013, I got out of the shoe, and um, they had a lot more cell phones on the line, and so I was trying to figure out how to make money with the cell phones, right? And one of the legal ways I found um was like doing music. I always loved music. I thought, okay, well, maybe I could try this. You know what I'm saying? My homie J King had a label called All Star Criminal, so I started like doing stuff, and then figured out how to create an LLC. Figured out how to record. Started tapping into cats, get my stuff mixed and mastered, all on a cell phone before it was really popular.
Oh, no
You know what I'm
way.
saying? Yeah. So and then it actually was doing okay. So I was like, all right, well, I was fighting my appeal. I was fighting appeal on the juvenile stuff to get myself out of prison, and the felony murder rule changed,
Yeah.
and I was able to actually get out. So I was like, all right, well, life's short.
Yeah.
Let me just see what I could do with this, and so I hooked up with Toes, Go Toes, and then started putting stuff out through that, and then had to shake that, and hooked up with Pyrex, had my own label, hooked up with Insane, and now I created this consortium of homies that got knowledge of the game, and not even just homies, but like just yeah,
What a
it's really
blessing.
yeah, it is really a
What a
blessing.
blessing.
And now we're seeing now like I feel like we're at the precipice, and it's heavy. It feels great. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It
Yeah, that
feels
was going to
great.
be my next question. Like, what do you see as a trajectory of like Northern Cali rap?
What I see, how I feel about it really is like in California, Northern California is right now who people look to for the swag, right? So like uh, if we don't take this opportunity and we don't uh, put forth our best face and make this shit happen, then we're gonna lose the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what everybody's doing,
Yeah.
right? People are starting to recognize in a um, general population that ain't raza, that ain't, you know what I'm saying? They see fucking what we're doing, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, okay, these fools are kind of dope, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you feel like there's any gatekeeping that goes on?
100%, yeah. That's of course, right? They're from different, not only from the blacks, not only from the establishment in the hip hop community, but also from the Southerners. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There's every time we do something, yeah, it all comes to us like, man, these mother,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure,
Because
yeah,
I be seeing so like much talent out there, and I'm like, wait, how are they not farther than
yeah.
where they're at? Like, what is going on? You
But
know?
you know what's great about that, and what's great about like just us generally as raza is
Hmm.
like they always put walls up. They always try to relegate us to specific areas in life, in geography, in what we can do and what we can't do, and, and we
We
just
end up busting
yeah
through.
we just do
Give up
whatever
our
we
lane.
want to
Yeah.
and excel at it, and we become the example. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Whether it's art, music, whether it's just working, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
we
I
do
agree with
whatever
that.
we want.
Yeah, and I don't know, I feel like there's a shift. I feel like there's a lot of collaborating going on.
Right.
Like in Northern California, I feel like we're really understanding the importance of unity and working together and bringing people from different aspects together. And I'm
That is our
seeing the
superpower.
camaraderie.
That is
Yeah,
our superpower.
yeah, I
You
agree.
know what I'm saying? Where everybody has relied thus far on conflict for them to gain their space. You know what I'm saying? We took the opposite. You know what I'm saying? We said this is not what we do. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And there is power in unity. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And you don't necessarily have to be from a specific thing organization or whatever, you just have to be dope.
Yeah.
You just have to be dope. You know what I'm saying? There's certain people that we don't deal with, but there's all these other people that we deal with. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And
And I think it shows a level of respect too. Like we don't gotta, hella fuck with each other, like each other, but you got the talent, we respect it, we see it. You know what I mean? And I think
right,
that's another cool thing to see.
right.
Because for way too long, it's just been like a hater ass mentality
It
on each
has.
other when it's
Yep.
like, come on, that
With
person's
and
dope.
it's been ingrained in us to it's the 50 Cent complex, right? It's like I have to attack this dude. I have to, or Jay-Z and Nas, right? It's like I have to attack the throne in order to become king. You know what I'm saying? You're not we're not taking that position.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it fluctuates.
Yeah.
You know, there's an automatic thing that happens in society where it ebbs and flows. You know what I'm saying? There's a thing that it's a Marxist theory, but it's called dialectical materialism, right? And it's the process of life, right? It's like everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know what I'm saying? Societies, that table, this microphone, right? Everything lives and dies. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There's gonna be a time for you. As long as you work hard, you're consistent, and you just play a position.
Yeah. Hey, how much do you think the fan base has to do with this perpetual cycle of having to hate on each other to get on? Because I feel like a lot of it is entertainment
Right.
for the people that listen.
I think generally, I think there's a perspective that there has to be hate in order for there to be success, right? I think with us specifically, I think there's not that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It bothers me when people are like, "Oh, we're the first to hate on each other," right? Like that George Lopez stuff, right? Where George Lopez kept every other fucking Hispanic out of the black kings of comedy, black and brown, right? And people said, "Oh, that's what we do. That's always what we do." That ain't always what we do. Look over history.
Yeah.
Yeah, history doesn't show that. History shows that people work with each other, and that's where you find success.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This individual did that. That's not the guideline. You know what I'm saying? That bothers me.
Yeah. So, what would your biggest advice be to people that are trying to come up, whether it be music, podcasting, content creating, whatever passion they're trying to pursue? What would be your biggest advice to them?
Don't stop. Don't stop. Go. You know what I'm saying? It's a process. You know what I'm saying? You gon' man. There's no reason for me to be doing what I'm doing and be able to make money off it. Right? I'm 45. I'm Mexican. I look white as fuck. I did 23 years in prison.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't fit the mold.
Yeah.
But everybody comes to me for like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So I'm that's not to big up myself. That's just to use myself as an example
Yeah.
and say if my fat ass could do it, anybody could do it. You just gotta work. You gotta work and be consistent and don't blame other motherfuckers for your failures. Just that's a lesson. Keep going.
Yeah. And I would also say probably don't put yourself in a box.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself in the box of hate. Don't put yourself in the
Right.
box of like, shading nobody. Don't block your blessings by being a hater.
Right.
And
That energy is cancer.
Yeah.
That energy is cancer.
Yeah. How far do you plan on taking your music career, or
I
where do you
don't
see it going?
I don't actually plan on rapping too long, right? So I love it, right? And I might do it like as a hobby right now. It's work. You know what I'm saying? So I might do it as a hobby. Well, what I want to make, I have my own podcast. I put together No Paperwork Podcast, which is doing okay now, and I got my own record label. I got clothes. I do tattoos. I do everything I said I always wanted to do. I just do it because life is short.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now I'm finding success in it. And what I plan to do in the future, as far as this music is concerned, is provide an avenue. We just opened a studio that we're giving access to people who we think take this thing seriously. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to show you how to distribute yourself. We're going to show you how to do your own publishing. We're going to
Putting people up on game.
yeah, we're gonna be having a open house. It's not called an open house though. It's my homegirl Carrie Arazate, who works a lot with prisoners' rights. She's gonna help me put together my nonprofit organization, and we're gonna do this work. It's called a workhouse or something. Workshop.
Workshop, yeah.
Right. Where we have a bunch of speakers come in. Big Tone's already agreed to come in and just show you how to parlay, open your own business, and do this kind of stuff. And It's gonna be catered. It's gonna be lovely. We're gonna have music. We're gonna have just everybody's gonna turn up, but we're gonna learn something. We're gonna have a good time, but we're gonna learn something.
Well, that's hella cool.
Yep,
Send me the info
I
when you got
will
all of it
for
so I can
sure.
promote it because I'm all
I will. We
for
might have
giving
you
back.
speak too. Yeah.
Yeah, like
We,
that. That's amazing, and I think that's what we need.
it is.
And it's truly it is so beautiful, and I know beautiful might be a corny word to some people, but it's been beautiful to see the older generation pair up with the younger generation, and you guys be so passionate
Right.
about changing the trajectory of
Right.
where we're headed down to the workouts. I see,
Yep.
a lot of the young men getting together and working out,
Yep.
the camaraderie, the collabing, the coming together.
Yep.
It is changing the history or the stigma I feel like that we've had here.
Listen, I'm glad you said that. Right. So I was a Pepsi generation. When I came into jail, all the older heads, what would they always say? They always be like, "Man, you Pepsi generation, all you guys are gonna fall, all you guys are gonna snitch, all you got, there's not gonna be whatever in 10 years from now because all you guys are weak." You know what I'm saying? And they never did nothing really to participate out here. And now you see Sac, especially with everything just going like none of it makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? So I said when I got out that I'm not going to participate in all that stuff. What I am going to do is throw myself out there and just go talk to people. You know what I'm saying? And just pull up and don't do the internet stuff. If I got an issue with somebody, I'm going to pull up. You know what I'm saying? And just have a conversation. I don't know tough guy shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like
Some grown man shit.
on some grown man shit. I don't care if he's 18, 16. I don't care if he's 56. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I've been doing it. I've been doing it for 2 years, and I got a couple other homies that's in this business that's doing that too, and it's working.
Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah, I definitely see the change. I see the change in a positive direction.
Yeah.
And it's way less focus on beef and negativity
Yeah.
and more so how can we reach our hand back down and help Raza come up.
Yeah. And
You know?
and we're not always right. Right? So like the older heads, I'm talking about myself, I'm not always right. I don't know. I'm learning this, right? So I did a lot of time in prison. So I'm coming out. I'm just trying to make some stuff happen, and it's happening. And now I'm learning what to do with it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, you know, as long as I maintain that some kind of humility, you know what I'm saying, and learn with these youngsters, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it don't people don't have to die, and we could get some money, and we could get out of this situation, and we could, make our voices heard for
Yeah.
sure.
And I want to add to as much motion as you guys are making by doing this, right? And just the progress that you guys have had in it thus far. It just shows the power of what influential men can do. We hear that men are the pillars of society. I truly believe that. Like, obviously, we need men and women. We're different, but
Right.
equal in value,
Yep.
different in other aspects, right? But to see what men can do when they're on their grown man shit and come together, the wisdom, the knowledge, the motion that you guys are giving back to the younger generations, yourselves,
Right.
the generational wealth you guys are trying to build for the
Right.
families that are coming up that were once in you guys' shoes when you guys were youngster.
Yeah.
Like it's very apparent how impactful and strong men can be when they come together. And I really appreciate that.
Man, thank you. And but yeah, it's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process, and there's gonna be some cracked eggs, but man, you know, yeah, I know what we could do.
Yeah.
I know what we could do, and it doesn't make sense to not try. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Well, in any way that I can help, in any way, please feel free to reach out. I want to help. I love all that.
Yeah.
And I believe in all of that and the good that it can do for everyone who looks to us in these outlets, music, podcasting, whatever, to guidance or even just you can learn something from everybody.
And when we're with the studio, with everything that we're doing, it's not just for Mexicans or people of certain thing, right? It's we trying to make sure that everybody, like, if you're actually serious about it and you trying to rock, man, you can rock. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I know you said you don't plan on rapping for too much longer, but Is there any artist that you would like to collab with or do a song with that you
Uh,
haven't already done?
I mean, there's a lot, right? There's a lot. So like, I shoot for the stars. You know what I'm saying? So like, when I talk about like, I like Nas and that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I would think probably like Nas, Davies, that type of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Davies is cool.
Yeah.
I like his flow. That's cool. What is the biggest? Well, no, actually, before I get to that, where can people contact you to get more information about the workshop
Oh yeah.
or the
You
studio?
yeah.
Getting on No Paperwork podcast.
For
Where
sure.
could they contact you
You
at?
could reach out to All Star Criminal on IG and All Star Criminal MG at Gmail. You could hit me up on YouTube, BFD.FYDH on Instagram. I'm anywhere, man.
And
Just
I'll
hit me.
link all
Yeah.
those ads in here too, so
Yeah.
people know how to find you
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
Um, what is the biggest lesson you've learned from life?
What's the biggest lesson I've learned from life? Uh Man, that's deep. I think the biggest lesson that I've learned from life is how short life is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did 23 years in prison. Man, you either go or you just lose. You lose everything. You don't. Life is very short.
Mm-hmm. If you could tell your younger self something, what would you have told yourself?
Hold on, man. Hold on. Think. Just think, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Think. You're a smart dude.
Yeah,
Think. Yeah.
that's
That's what I would
awesome.
tell myself.
Do you think it would have made a difference?
Nope.
You think you would have listened to your own advice back in the day?
No, hell no. No.
No, some people just got to learn the hard way, huh?
Yeah,
I was the same way.
unfortunately, yeah.
But you know what? Despite everything and like all the decisions that one could say were bad for your life, right? I think the wisdom that it gave you will forever be the biggest blessing that comes out of the mistakes that you made in life.
Straight up. And I was just gonna say that was like I wouldn't change anything,
Yeah.
right? Because the what's happening now, the small role I play in it, right, is like if it helps in any way, like keep any of these what 30, 40 youngsters that we be messing with, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
out of prison, keep them from getting killed, get her family something to eat, then man,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't regret none of that shit.
Yeah. And you're a walking testimony.
On my mama, yeah.
You've had all these obstacles and you come out, you're making actual movements and motion with what you want to do
Yeah.
because there's that limitlessness in you. You know what I mean? There's that, oh, I've been there, I've lived that life, and there's nothing I can't do if I
Right.
put my mind to it. And that's wonderful, you know? And your hope for other people that have walked in your shoes, you
That's
know, or
dope.
made
Thank
some
you. I
decisions that
appreciate
you've
that.
made.
I
So
appreciate that.
kudos to you for all that you're doing.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you want to promote before we close out or share?
Um, Man, I would say shout out everybody that's participating in this. Shimo Media, No Paperwork, Jacket for Life, uh, NOR, uh, Shmoney Gang, all these dudes that are just 559 Bullies, Pyrex, uh, Tiger Dan Bully Gang. All these dudes are doing something for real positive that don't have nothing to do with region or affiliation or race or none of that stuff. It's just positive. You putting each other on and it's working. That shit is working. Thank you to everybody's support for real.
Yes, I agree. And continue doing what you guys are doing because we are gaining traction. I link myself in that because I'm trying to platform y'all with the
Yeah, no,
podcast too
and
on a
it's
different,
working.
like, you know, but
Yeah, thank you to
I
you.
like the
Yeah,
trajectory.
I seen I watched everybody's stuff. I watched my boy Bo. I watched Savs. I watched Cinco's. I watched everybody's stuff, man. You're killing it. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
thank
want to get
you.
you on No Paperwork too, for sure.
I'm
So,
down. I'm down. I never done no jail time or nothing, but I caught
man,
a few cases.
man,
You
I
know,
hope
I
you
changed.
No
I
Paperwork
changed my
isn't
life.
about that. So let me just clear this up while I'm right
Yeah.
here. No Paperwork isn't about people who caught cases
Oh,
or in the
okay.
criminal lifestyle. What it is we don't allow people to come on and crash out. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? We don't let people create paperwork. Like you're not gonna come on here and talk about killing somebody, talk about doing crimes and that kind of stuff. That anything that doesn't have a
Meaning?
that doesn't have a is gonna get you in trouble,
There we go.
right?
Okay.
So if it doesn't have something positive in it, then we don't want to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So if
Gotcha.
you look at all the stuff that we've edited where something may have been, you know what I'm saying, may have put somebody in a cross, may have created some funk with somebody else. We're not doing that shit. We're no paperwork. We're not trying to get you guys in trouble. We're trying to just promote the individual.
Okay, I like that
Yeah.
clarification. But real quick on that, what's the word I'm looking for? Damn, what the hell's the word I'm looking for? Me, who's always good with words. Nah, I don't know the word. The inspiration behind that.
My boy Jay King. So we were watching No Jumper, and we were seeing these dudes just like flash on each other and always pretending like they were gonna fight, but never actually fight. And you know what I'm saying? And talk about killing people and like you really catching cases on like Vlad and stuff like that. Like, and
Yeah.
where dudes going to testify against, like, man, come on, man. Yeah, no, we're not doing none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I've
we,
seen some very questionable things on
yeah,
No Jumper. I ain't into trying to bash nobody, whatever, do you,
no,
right? But I'm like, this is really some Fed shit going on because why are we putting ourselves in these
right.
positions and then Adam be like egging it on
Right.
and then it goes to real life and I'm like,
So that's his job, right? So if he's a Fed or not, that's what it is. If you come on, just come from where we come from.
yeah,
You should be conscious that what you say, everybody can hear it.
yeah,
Like that's the purpose of why you're in these things. Everybody can hear what you're saying. So if you're talking to that way, that really ain't Adam. That ain't Vlad. That's you.
yeah.
You know, so yeah, we're not. So if that happens on our podcast, if you do something, we're cutting it out. We don't.
Oh,
I don't
good.
care. Yeah, we're cutting it out. We're
Well, I
not
love the
going.
positivity
Yeah,
behind it and the
yeah. You
inspiration.
ain't
That's
going to
cool.
jail off our podcast. I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
We
wish you
don't.
guys all the well in the
Thank you.
success
We don't
moving
want
forward.
nobody to talk about their affiliation. We don't even ask specific. Same way you do. That's
Yeah.
how we do it. We don't want. It's good. Oh, you from Sacramento? That's all we need to know.
Yeah.
Great.
Hey, and it sets a positive light.
Yep.
You
Straight
know what
up.
I mean? Because there's so much more
Right.
to us as individuals
Yep. And
than
I'm gonna
the
tell you
outward
something.
appearance. You know?
Now it reaches more. Somebody that might turn on and be like, "Oh, he's from here. I ain't fucking with him." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just off the on the surface, if you don't put all that stuff in there, that dude might listen to you longer. You might learn something from you.
And you might have some relatability and realize that you guys might be more alike than you thought.
Oh my mama. Yep.
You know, I was just talking to someone today and I was like, it's kind of crazy how in the streets, right, whatever side of the fence you're on, everyone has, for the most part, a very similar story. And
Yep.
if you broke down that fence and understand the fact that whatever side you're on, the one commonality that most of us had is we had to come back home to a broken home where there wasn't much love and there wasn't much guidance. And that relatability might just be the thing that you know, I'm a hopeful person. We're to break down those walls that keep us divided.
Right.
You know,
Maybe.
or keep us not respecting each other.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting observation. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on the podcast and showing a deeper side of yourself and what you're doing and your intentions behind it. I wish you all the well
Thank you.
with what you got going on.
I appreciate it.
Like I said, in any way that I can help you, let me know. I'm so down.
All right,
And
yeah.
thank you so much, Fats.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. All right, you guys, have a good night. Bye-bye.